What's up, y'all? It's your girl, J. Renee for Prison Riot Radio. I hope that you're doing well. Today we have on the phone a fine brother that is behind the G wall. He goes by the name Shaka Shakur. How you doing, bro? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, sis. Just another day in the struggle, trying to keep moving forward, putting in the good work.
I know that's right. So let's get right into it. So tell me where you from and a little bit about yourself.
I'm originally from Gary, Indiana. I always say born in Gary, raised in the penitentiary, because I've been struggling behind enemy lines for the most part for over 30 years, all my life, you know. But 54 years old, married, with one daughter, and been a part of the struggle in New African independence movement for over 20 years.
Right,
I'm currently out here in the state of Virginia, by force through an interstate compact. That's about it.
That's a lot of time to be down. A lot of people don't make it to the end of that. So what's something that keeps you motivated day to day?
Really just inspired by the movement, by the people, man, by the struggle and the energy of our people continuing to rise to the challenge of trying to defeat colonialism and neo-colonialism and oppression in our communities and as a people, and just seeing prisons as another part of that struggle, as another front of that struggle. And even though we lock down behind enemy lines, we have a role to play and a part to play in the broader struggle, and that's how I see it. So reaching out to other brothers, helping raise consciousness, organizing, I see that as part of their struggle. And that's what keeps me focused and strong.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting that you bring that up. I didn't tell you this before, but I heard about you through a third party, and they was just talking about how you keep them motivated, how you bring brothers up that you see that's on the wrong path, that's behind the G wall. So I really want to thank you for that. You know what I'm saying? Looking outside of yourself despite your situation to think about others. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I appreciate that, and I just kind of see that as a duty. I haven't been down. I've only been down. Well, not only, but I've been down on this when I just started my 19th year. This is my second bit. I first came to prison as a 16-year-old kid and did a little over 15 years and what have you. But when I came into the system, it was what we call the old heads and the OGs that groomed us to school. That's the political prisoners and political activists that snatched us up and helped bring us out of the gang culture, the gang mentality, and the colonial mentality, criminal mentality, to politicize us and put us on a revolutionary path. That's always been my training. So when I see brothers that got potential, like the brother and comrade Kwame Shakur and other brothers that show potential or whatnot, particularly leadership potentials, it's all about the each one, teach one.
Right. Right, for sure. Your voice definitely extends past the G wall. You're a bit of a journalist and a writer in your own right. And I've seen your writings on supportprisonlives.org and also for the New African Liberation Coalition, is it? Get me right.
New African Collective.
New African Collective. Okay, thank you. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, the New African Liberation Collective was formed by myself and, comrade Kwame Shakur behind the walls. And it's not necessarily a mass organization. It started as a cadre development organization with the political, economical, and military aspect to it. Political in terms of raising one's consciousness, organizing brothers to take responsibility for ourselves and not depend on the state. As we both know, the state has moved to take away programs, funding for the educational, vocational programs. The reentry process and transition is a joke. It's not really preparing us to come back into our communities and be assets to our communities, and not predators. And it doesn't really prepare us to deal with the reality. A lot of us are going back to communities where civil wars is raging, war zones, et cetera, economically depressed zones, etc. You know, so you telling me just how to get my license and so forth, and how to fill out applications and whatnot. It's not preparing me for the social or psychological aspect of returning to the community.
Right.
And so this is what we're trying to do. And the economical aspects, you know, that we can become independent and have the funds to acquire materials that contribute to that process. And the military aspect to defend against the racist pigs and oppressive police and COs that are trying to brutalize us behind these walls, as well as the developing white nationalist and white supremacist organizations that's blowing up inside the prisons that a lot of the administrations and state are enabled to continue to develop and act as a counterweight to any type of political resistance movement behind the walls, right?
Right. You know, that it's easy for them to get away with it more in your situation because, unfortunately, a lot of people dehumanize people that are incarcerated. So when they hear things that's going on with y'all, the first thing that they've been conditioned to say is, oh, well, they shouldn't have went to prison. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of takes the human out of it. It's like, okay, this person may or may not deserve to be there, but at the same time, they're a human being. So to not care about their human rights and how they're being treated is inhumane. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we definitely appreciate you for, you know, thinking about the brothers and sisters getting out, and so they can have something to look forward to. Because just because you're incarcerated doesn't mean you it's over.
Exactly. What's interesting about that position too is two things. If you don't care about how we're treated in here and how we're brutalized in here, then don't care about when we come back to the community as psychosocial paths.
Right.
You understand? If you don't care about how we brutalize in here and how these people treat us and fill us with full of hate, anger, and rage and whatnot, and you don't want to contribute to us trying to counter that, then don't complain when people come back out as damaged individuals suffering from all types of trauma. And people hurt other people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so you have to get involved if you care about your community. You should be involved in the parole process. You should be involved in the laws and so forth that regulates and controls and affects your community. The other thing about that is something that we learned during this COVID experience. A lot of people that under this COVID lockdown and whatnot, this pandemic, couldn't take being under home confinement, etc.
Right.
You know, where they couldn't go out, was locked down, etc. But yet, at the same time, while you're protesting and demanding that you be able to move around and so forth under this pandemic and so forth, yet you don't want to see prisoners that's in danger or geriatric prisoners or that's high risk be released from prison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like people who say they pro-life in the abortion movement, but yet you support the death penalty.
Right. Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so those are blatant contradictions, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you said a mouthful there, bruh. So let me ask you, you know, like you've been down for a while and you're still motivated. You know, you're motivated every day to look outside yourself and take care of yourself. So, you know, what advice would you give, you know, a young brother or sister that's behind the G-wall and, you know, they trying to get that time down. They trying to, you know, make it through. What advice you give them?
Don't get caught up in the prison politics. You have to have a program that works for you. You have to stay focused for the most part. You know, and even all the stuff, even with my own personal experience and whatnot, don't get me wrong, I still go through my days. I still have my struggles. I still get depressed, etc. But I understand the process. With that being said, one of the things we have to learn is no one knows your story better than you. So therefore, it's just like this Black Lives Matter movement. You understand? Who best speaks for us than us?
Right.
You understand? There could be no conversation about Black Lives Matter about prisoners, if they really matter behind the walls, if we're not involved in that conversation ourselves.
Right.
So you have to learn the law. You can't just depend on a lawyer. You got to work on your case. You have to get involved. You can't give up hope. I done seen dudes that got life sentences, 70, 80 years, 100-something years, and after 10 years, 15 years, get that time back. So it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to push that pen and try to network with outside organizations and people that think like you or might be willing to help you. You know, you can't say what ain't going on if you're not looking for it.
That's
You
true.
know, and if people not on your path and not on your journey or where you trying to go, then you have to disassociate yourself because them people will hold you back and pull you down.
Right.
You know, and it's hard being positive when you're in a sea of negativity. Misery loves comfort. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have the strength to choose and go your own path and go your own way, even though you might be considered an outcast or whatever.
Right.
You know, but in the end, it's gonna pay off.
For
You know,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, tell the people, you know, how they can, you know, your websites and stuff where they can see your writing and your literature, how they can connect with you.
Well, you can go to, okay, like I say, the organization we started behind the walls is New African Liberation Collective. You can go to newafricanliberation.org and pull up our site, and it has a lot of my writings on it, as well as Comrade Kwame Shakur. It has our mission statement and bylaws and so forth on it. You can contact me either through JPay at Shaka Shakur 1996-207. You can go to get in touch or to learn more about the movement that we affiliated with, which is the New African Independence Movement. You can go to pull up New African Liberation Collective. The site is newafricanliberation.org. You can get at me, and then on there you can find a lot of my writings, a lot of Comrade Kwame Shakur writings, our mission statement and what we're about. You can also get at me directly through Shaka Shakur, DOC number 1996-207 at jpay.com, State of Virginia. Or you can go to my personal website, which is Shaka Shakur at protonmail.com, and I definitely will respond. Another site I would like for you all to pull up would be supportprisonlinesmatter.org and idocwatch.org.
Okay. Well, y'all make sure y'all check that out, you know what I mean? See what the comrade is doing and just what we're trying to do out here, you know what I mean, for our brothers and sisters that are free and those that are behind the G-Wall. So, you know, Shaka, go ahead. Don't let me cut you off.
Yeah, one of the things in terms of agenda-wise that we're trying to do and push, like a lot of people is talking about abolitionism, prison abolition, and like a lot of this stuff, you know, people drink the Kool-Aid with the electoral politics because we got Biden and Harris and often they talking about prison reform, etc. With that being said, we still have to organize on the grounds to hold these people accountable and to push this type of stuff.
Right.
And one of the things that we want to press upon people is that we're trying to cultivate inside, outside working relationships. This is one of the things that we've been doing.
Right.
Is that we're building structures, infrastructure, not only behind the walls, but outside in the communities as far as reentry programs, acquiring property for transitional housing, to developing nonprofit organizations, status and so forth, so that people coming out of the prisons can have jobs, you know what I'm saying? It can be part of their parole plans. It allows us to take responsibility and have a little bit of autonomy for ourselves.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, for sure, because that's important. That's definitely important, bro. Go ahead.
And it takes a little bit of the power from the state and empowers us. You know, we have inside our political committees, like we started a program called Prisons Legal Support Network. You can also find that on our sites. All that stuff will be on our DLCwatch.org sites next week. But we started an organization called Prison Legal Support Network. This is an organization that created inside committees for jailhouse lawyers and pro se litigants. And what we did, we put out a call to progressive lawyers, attorneys, paralegals, and law students that was willing to reach inside the prisons and help support jailhouse lawyers and train jailhouse lawyers and help us facilitate review of different types of cases. And what we did was create two aspects, criminal law and civil law. The National Lawyers Guild came out and endorsed us, as well as Jailhouse Lawyers Speak. And so what we do is the jailhouse lawyers get together. We create our own individual law libraries so that we don't have to depend on the institutional law libraries.
Okay.
We review cases, like civil cases, that will have a broader impact on a large number of prisoners that may set precedent. We do the legwork, we do the research, then we put together a brief, We submit that brief to the outside committee, which is attorneys, for them to further research, take a look at it, and determine whether or not they will file these cases in court. Same with the criminal law cases. It's taking off, it's catching on. We get calls from out of state where people want to imitate these models, etc. This is huge, and it's something that hasn't been done before.
Man, that is awesome. You know, you definitely got my support. You got Prison Riot Radio support. You know what I'm saying? Like, we with you. Good people that's listening, if you want to connect with him also, you can connect with Support Prison Lives and the New African Liberation Coalition. Did I say it right there? Collective. I'm going to get it right. You can also connect with them on prisonriotradio.com under the affiliate tab. So, brother, I want to say again, I appreciate you. Thank you for standing strong. Thank you for everything that you're doing, you know, and you are definitely not alone.
We definitely appreciate your support, and the people support. All power to the people who fight for it.
All right, for sure. This is your girl, J. Renee, for Prison Riot Radio.